Welcome everybody. It's Tuesday the 19th of May 2020 and this is a Tilt webinar with Guiomar Mancho, Appsmashing Languages. I'm Helen Myers, I'm ALL London Chair. I'm very keen to encourage people to join ALL, the Association for Language Learning. We have in the room Joe Dale, MFL Twitterati, the person who founded it, independent languages consultant, and just knows everybody and has been brilliant at bringing everybody together. Heike Filt, we always thank for giving us lots of help in knowing how to set up webinars. And then here we're going to be finding out particularly about, oh, and I've misspelt your name again, I'm so sorry, I've missed out the O. So Guiomar, who's been a teacher for over 15 years, really keen on technology, and she'll be talking a little bit more about what she's done, and Joe will introduce her later on. So please, if you haven't joined already, join ALL. Please write now in the chat. If you're a member, write and tell other people that they must join in. We've had some lovely feedback. Yesterday I went to the ALL management board and was told that people had been joining because of these webinars and said how much they'd enjoyed it. Because obviously they're free, but it's often organised by people who are doing it because we're members and we want to help each other. So please do consider joining if you're not already a member. Good to see members here. Lovely. Helen Stokes, Anna Granger. Very good. So as I've said before, you'll be able to get all of these webinars. You can get normally from our page here or go direct to Joe Dale 100 on YouTube. Coming soon, we've got an exciting evening coming up on Thursday. I was on the phone to Kerry for about 40 minutes yesterday. We talked about lots of things, but we also were planning what's going to happen on Thursday. And she's got some really interesting things lined up for us for quizzing, including just very little breakout groups. We're going to try that out as well. So we don't want to put you off. It'd be nice just to experience that for about 2 or 3 minutes. So that's on this Thursday. And then next week, next Tuesday, we've got Francois Stalder coming for talking about a virtual adventure, which is sounding great. And can I particularly also ask you if you know of anybody who is going to be a new teacher next year, probably is feeling a little bit anxious about things, tell them to come along to David Shank's session next Wednesday evening, May the 27th. I was talking to him today. He's really putting a lot of effort into planning this, to talk about what are the particular situations at the moment, what is worrying people. And we were brainstorming as an ALL committee with ideas. So, you know, please do encourage people, particularly as now the room will take 500 people. So we can take everybody and we can all be part in the same room. So whether you're joining us on Zoom or YouTube live stream, please be aware of our etiquette, where we're professional and kind at all times. And we also need to say that we're very happy to host everybody free of charge, and speakers and participants are obviously responsible for what they say. So now I'm going to pass over to Joe to introduce Guiomar Mancho. Over to you, Joe.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much, Helen. That's brilliant. Before we start with the introduction, can I ask everyone to turn off their webcams and mute their microphones, please? Otherwise, I'll have to go through and do a bit of housekeeping and be the digital bouncer and go through and unmute you. Sorry, mute you even. So please, could you do that now? That'd be really handy. So it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Guiomar Mancho, who is going to talk about lots of creative ways of using technology to enhance language learning through Appsmashing, focusing on the game of Cluedo. And as we all know, this is all being recorded, so that's wonderful in the way that we can then all watch back. But I can't wait to see exactly the workflow and how Guiomar is putting everything together. It's going to be a really fascinating session, and yeah, can't wait to get started. So with that in mind, it's my absolute pleasure to introduce Guiomar. And if you'd like to share your screen now, Guiomar, with your presentation. So as I said already, could everyone turn off their webcams, please? Otherwise, I'll be forced to do it for you. So that would be lovely. And over to you, Guiomar. You're very welcome to the Tilt webinar on the 19th of May, 2020.
Thank you very much. No pressure there. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to share now this. Okay, so this is presentation in the Appsmashing. So as Joe said, I'm a language teacher and I've been doing this for quite a while now. And one of the things I really enjoy is basically using technology to meet my needs and not the other way around. So I do a lot of here and there, and I touch a lot of apps and things, because it is usually the case that not one app can do everything you want it to do. So you have to keep looking and finding things that would actually fit your idea. So these are basically, the ones here are the ones I use quite a lot. So usually the idea of the Cluedo game, so my thing was, okay, I have grades 6 and 7, and my unit is on crime, which it's already a bit weird for 6 and 7. And I also need to work the past. So what am I gonna do? So basically it all always started with an idea. And my idea was, okay, let's give them something to look forward to. Let's give them a game. Let's play Cluedo. Okay. So ideas are usually great, but then you actually need to think a lot about them. Like, can I actually do this? What am I gonna need? What are actually my goals? What do I want the students to learn through this process? How am I gonna do it? And then the most important part, which is research. The internet is amazing, Google is amazing, and you can find almost anything you want. And then once you do that, then everything usually turns out okay, especially because the kids are very forgiving. So yeah, I had an idea. So the first thing I actually asked myself was, okay, I want to play Cluedo. What do I need? And it is very basic, but that's where everything starts. What am I going to need to play the game? Well, I'm going to need the basics: a board, tokens, dice, and cards, because that's basically what the game is. So the first thing I needed to sort out was how I was going to present that to the kids. And Google Slides gave me that opportunity because they all know it. It's really easy to use. I work at a Google school, so that's why it was, for me, it was the best tool to use in this case. So, okay, board. So again, I turned to the internet and I found a board game. I asked for permission and they said I could use it, no problem, which is always a good thing to do. So I have a board. What am I going to do with it? Because, you know, it basically moves around. It doesn't fit the page, but it is a good board game. And the reason it is good is because I have no names and I can name the rooms whatever I want. This is not very like beautiful, maybe. Why? I said something I shouldn't, so sorry. So, but okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make it fit. And yeah, it is strange. But to be honest, kids are not going to be too bothered about that. So I have a board, but now I need to add names to the different rooms. Okay, so maybe this one's going to be the gym. And I put it here. And then you take your time to make this beautiful and whatever you need. Okay, this is going to be, okay, this is going to be a classroom, for example. So you get where I'm going with this. But what happens now, if I ask the students, if I share this with the students and we play and we use this as a board, basically, it just doesn't work. I could just grab it all and I could group it as a group, but it would still move everywhere. And students are basically masters of basically messing everything you set up for them to do. So the solution is actually very simple, and it is here. And basically, I'm going to add a new slide. And here I have the option of background, of adding a background. So basically, you take this, you finish it up, you make it beautiful, take a picture, and then you just add it as a background. I prepare one, so the one I actually used in class, I'm just going to use this one. Now, it doesn't really matter what you do to it, it's not going to move. And you can actually play on it. So this is something that's really, really silly, but at the same time, it really saves a lot of time while you play any game. That one, because I don't need it anymore, because I have my perfect board. So step one, yes. I have the board, that's amazing. Next thing I need are tokens, because we need to move around this board. You can do this in many different ways, but there's one I love that works really well, and it's just go in here, go into shapes, and have them choose whatever they want. I actually gave them all smiley faces in my board. And then you just copy paste as many as you need and just change the color. And you can let them choose. They can actually make their own if they want to. This is something that just works every single time, and it's very effortless, which as a teacher, if I can save time, I would really appreciate it. So now I do have tokens. These ones, yes, I can move them around, but it's not too bad. Okay, so, okay, good, I have tokens. If you want something a bit more interesting, then just another option is just insert an image. You can search the web, okay? Oh, so I had a search here already for what I want to search. Oh, let me go again. Sorry. I'm extremely nervous. So yeah, I looked for animals actually before. So animals would work, but if you only look for animals, you get a load of things that are not actually that useful. The magic word for me when I look for anything that I want to put in a school presentation is the word clip art. The moment you put that, that's when you get the better things, or at least for school. So I don't know, maybe someone wants to be a penguin and someone else wants to be, just get them in. Okay, of course, they're going to be really big, but then you only need to make it smaller. And because it's clip art, they usually don't have background, they are PNGs. So they are actually very easy to use. And very quickly, you can have very nice tokens. And if you've got a lot of students, just put them here on the side, because you're not going to play full screen because I need to move around. So you can just have all the different things here, and then you can start from the middle anyways. So very quickly, I already solved 2 problems. I have a board and I've got tokens to move around. What was my next thing? And that one is one I love, and I'm so grateful for the internet. I needed a dice. How am I going to do that? How am I actually going to roll a dice? We're doing remote learning. Am I supposed to grab, I don't know, I've got dice at home, maybe I should use that. So if you look at my screen, next to help, I have this magic word. I can click on it and I can actually roll a die. And I rolled a 4. I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully you can see that I actually rolled a 4. That's an amazing script I found on the internet. It actually, all the credit goes to Alice Killer. And if you don't know her, I do recommend checking her Twitter, her website. She shares a lot of resources. She's a math teacher and she's amazing. And this is one of the things she shares for free on her website. And a script to have a dice on Google Slides. Alice Killer, yep, yep, she is amazing. I do recommend going through her website. She also does webinars, and it's a very interesting teacher. Okay, so I've got a board, I've got tokens, and I've got dice. I need cards, okay, but as of now, the only one that's been doing some work, it's me. And I do want the students to do things. So, okay, I've done all the work. Now I need the students to do something for me. If we're gonna play the game and we're gonna need cards, they're gonna have to basically write them out. How am I gonna do that? I need something that is creative, something that would allow students to do whatever they want in a way that it's easy to use. So I turn to Canva. I don't know if you know Canva. I'm just gonna open it here. It's this an app in which you can design things, okay? And you have templates. You can look for things, the ID card, business cards, program posters, presentations, Instagram posts. You've got basically templates for whatever you want. And I am not sure what I want, but I think I just created a new design. So I'm going to create cards for the game. And basically, so if I want to create cards, one of the things that I'm going to need a picture and I'm going to need text. So one of the options I have is ID card, and that's the one I chose. You can just really just navigate through them all. It's endless. So I thought, why not ID card? It sounds easy, it sounds useful. You've got loads of designs that have already been done for you. Once you click on a design, you can personalize it, you can customize it all you want. This is the one I actually chose, and I only chose the first page, not the second one, because I don't need a back, because we're not gonna print them out. So what do I do with this? Well, I can do many things. So first of all, I just clear it out. Okay, just gonna write here car name. Okay, here, I don't know, it's gonna be suspect for the game. Okay, good. I don't need this. I don't need this either. This, I don't need that. Okay, good. It's pretty clear now. So very quickly, I just transform what the template I had into something I could work with. What am I going to do with this? Okay, very quickly. In my case, that's what I did. This is the process I followed. So I want them to write a description, because we worked description during the first term, and I want them to show me that they still know how to do that. So I'm going to ask them to describe the cards. I've distributed them. We actually agreed on each card what they wanted to have as weapons, as suspects, and as rooms. The students decide that, so that worked pretty well. Okay, just gonna move that here. Good. Things that you can do and things that are important here and that I think are most interesting ones when it comes to Canva is this here. You have the option to add shapes and frames, and as you can see, they look very similar, but they are completely different. So the idea of adding a frame is always, for the purposes of what I am doing, it is always better. I'm just going to add a shape here so that you see the difference. Okay. I asked the students to write a card, and they're going to need pictures. They're gonna add a picture representing what they are describing. Okay. So I'm just gonna, the cat, perfect. So I'm just gonna show you what happens when I drag a picture around the card, okay? Because a lot of things happen and they're really, so I can do just one, which is just drop it here, which is not that good. I can, oh, why isn't it working now? Okay. But if I put it on top of the frame, it will frame it automatically. So they don't even need to cut it out and make it bigger or smaller. If I try to do the same, and I can grab the picture, mine. If I try to do the same with just a shape, that never happens. It never takes the form of that shape. So it is really important to tell the students to use frames, because that way you're going to have a very neat card for them to create. Okay, so I add that. I'm going to take this out. Okay, and text, I'm going to have them to write text. So again, this one is very good. Add your text here. Okay, and they can add the text. You can make it that. You can change here, just like any word processor. So it's quite simple. So okay, I have one card, but I need suspects, weapons, and rooms. And if they all look the same, it's going to be a bit complicated. So I'm just going to copy. That's all I need to do. Now I have the same one. That's good. I don't need to customize it again. Now okay, let's just go here and I'm just going to change the color. And now this card is going to be this color. Now, if you lose the color like I did, that's okay. You don't even need to remember which one you chose because it basically turns up here. So you don't need to remember which shade you picked because it's going to be there. So that one. Good. And that one is not going to be for suspects. This one is going to be for rooms. And then I'm going to add another one. And this one very quickly, it's going to be, I don't know, let's make it green. Green, okay. It's green, but it's okay. Green and green, perfect. And this one is for weapons. All right, so now I have 3 cards. Good. What do I do now? Well, you can do many things, but the thing is, when I did that with the students, I did something a bit different, and now I'm going to tell you what I shouldn't have done. And basically, the best thing to do is once you have a card set, you can share it here and you can email your student and tell them this is your card set. Okay. Just going to show you what I did, and I'm going to tell you why it was not a good idea. Oh, so many, because I've been trying things. So what I did was I created just all the characters in one Canva, all the weapons in another Canva, and all the rooms in another Canva. That meant all my students were working on the same document at the same time, and it didn't work because it lagged quite a lot, and it just didn't work. So I think the best idea is just to create one, which is this one here. It takes a while, it's generating, but it is there. Do not worry if you don't see your card, it doesn't look exactly what you were doing, that's fine. So you just go here and you make a copy, and then same as I was doing here, student A, student B, student C, okay? That way you just share each of these, and get shareable link or send the link with each student, and they have their own 3 cards to work on their own in a single document. Because if they work on the same document, it lags quite a lot, and it just didn't work as it should have worked. Okay, so I've got my basically what I need to play the game. Yeah, so I've achieved basically the goal, but I haven't done the process yet. So, okay, our goal is to actually play the game, but that's the excuse for me to explain loads of things to my students and to have them learn a lot of things. So when I'm preparing a project like that and I'm doing all these things and I'm using all these apps, because actually after the Canva, there was a Flipgrid where they had to explain the creative process behind the cards they had created. So it's always bits and pieces that go in there. Today, I'm just looking at 4 different apps I've used, but there's always a lot going on in between them. So how do I make the learning meaningful? Because, okay, the Cluedo game is playing the game, but what's the story about? The Cluedo is about a person that basically gets murdered, and we have 8 suspects, and you're the detective, and you need to find out who murdered the victim. Okay, so I have characters, I have rooms, I have weapons, I don't have a victim. And the most important thing, I don't have a backstory. Why do we have 8 suspects? Why was this victim so unpopular? What happened in the past so that these 8 people will become suspects in a murder investigation? And this is where all these expressions, grammar, vocabulary that I want them to learn actually comes into place as well. So, okay, my students decided that the victim for our game was going to be the school's pet, which is a monkey called Mango. I have to say, we don't have a pet monkey called Mango, okay? They just really like the idea that that could happen at school, okay? So basically what they did is each of them created their own backstories for the characters, for the character they designed the card for, and their relationship with the monkey. So how can I make that a bit more entertaining, a bit more, I don't know, meaningful in a way? How can I make them write, read, and practice all these things we're doing in class? So why not writing a comic book? The story behind me and Mango, why we had this really strange relationship. So I asked them to create this comic book, and we use the app Book Creator to do this. So if you go to Book Creator, okay, this is how it works. I'm right now on the free version, which means I can only have 1 library. A library means that you can share with the students, which is what I had opened before, and you all share that space. But I can always archive them, and they are here. So you always have access to them. So you can only have 1 active library, but you can just archive and create a new one. So, all right, so I give my students a code. They go in. So let's see what they do. Okay, let's create a book. Now, this is really important, and it's really silly, but at the same time it's really important. Have your students always choose the option comic. If you choose a square, they cannot add the panels later on, but if they choose comic, you can always add them or not. Basically, you have the choice. So I always tell them to use the comic option so that they can add panels if they want to. I love Book Creator. Book Creator is really good. It's really easy to use. Students learn it very quickly, and they have a lot of fun designing. So what can you do here? Well, you have different options. This one's not necessary now. Plus, you can add media to it. Picture, you can import things, you can draw, you can add text, you can record. We'll talk about recording later. Comics, you can add panels, speech, a thought, text, you can add stickers. Here are some of the stickers. Okay, so I don't know, add a sticker. Yay. Okay, you can add shapes if you want to. Okay, you could add text, and you have different options. You can add title, and I can ask, this is a comic book. Okay, done. Now, as you can see here, I do not have many options, but that's okay. You have the eye. This is the most important menu in Book Creator, and sometimes it's not as easy to see. It's Inspector. This is where all the cool things are. So you click the Inspector, and here is where you can change the color. Okay, you can add colors. Okay, whatever color you want. Let's make it pink because it's that shade of pink doesn't look too good. Okay, good. And it's here, so I can reuse it whenever I want. I can make it bigger or smaller. Just here, you can use it like that as well. Okay, good, perfect. I can change the background. I can add a shadow, but all the good options are basically in the eye. Okay, I can also add a background if I want to. I don't know. Yeah, background. Okay, you can use whatever. You can add colors, paper. If you want to have students to look at something similar to writing, I don't know, here, patterns. So you have a lot of options, and we're just doing the cover. But okay, so let's move on, otherwise I'll be in the cover forever. So what else can you do? So the cover is done. I'm gonna add panels. These are the panels for a comic book. Okay, now they are locked, as you can see. You can unlock them. That means that if the shape of a panel is the panel shape that you want is not here, you can customize it by unlocking it. Okay, and you can make it bigger, smaller, and you can move it around. Okay, so you always have that option. Other things that you can do here, okay, you can still add the text. Okay, so I would add a caption, for example. Last week, I really like the look of captions because it really reminds me of comics. So last week, that's great, last week. So I want to put a picture here. Again, I can look for images on Google, and they are labeled for commercial reuse with modification. That's important. So whatever they find here, they'll be able to use. So again, I'm going to throw a monkey because it's Mango the monkey, and I'm going to use again my magic word, which is clip art. That way I know that wherever I find, it's going to be good. So a monkey, perfect, good. And I'm going to select it. And it should go here. Now I click. And I can make it as big or as small as I want. Again, I could add a speech bubble. Okay, make it small. I'm sure a lot of people are much better at this than I am, because I have to say that I am not an expert in any of the tools I'm showing you today. I just know of them as much as I need to get the result I want. So I do use a lot of apps, but I probably do not use them to the fullest extent they are, or all the options they offer. I only use them in a way that makes my life easy. So I am sure that most of you can do this much quicker than I can. I'm sure you know many other apps that can do what I am doing right now, but I use what I'm comfortable with, what I know how to use, and to the extent I need, because I think that's what apps are there for, to help us out, not to make our life more difficult than it already is. So I'm just going to add now, I don't know, text, but I don't know normal text. Okay. Okay, and I'm going to put this aside. Good. And this goes here. Okay, fine. Look, and I could you can also add one of the things you can do actually. You can put the whole page if you want. You can have like, and the panels as well. You can add a background if you want. Now, the thing that I really, really, really like about Book Creator, because as of now, I'm just creating a comic book, and it's a bit flat in a way because it's just me doing that. It's the audio part, media record. This is probably one of the best things for Book Creator, and the reason why I love it so much. Okay, so you get the record sound. Okay, you have here start recording. So I'm just going to do a very quick recording. Hi, I'm Mango. Okay, cool. I've got it. That's great. Okay, and now I have this here. This is the audio. So when you play the book, this is playing the book, and you click on it. Hi, I'm Mango. Can you hear that? Please tell me you can, because okay, good. I thought I had set it up, but just in case. So I'm just going to go back to edit. Now, this is here right now because it's a very bare thing, very quick that I just did. Well, it doesn't bother you much, but it could, because if it's a very busy, the students are doing a lot of busy work in it, having this in the middle doesn't help much. So what I asked them to do is basically I asked them to cover the entire thing. They put it on top, and you go to the eye. The eye is the magic, seriously, it's the magic menu. And you're invisible when reading. Now, if I play it, I don't see anything, but here I have an arrow, and when I go here, it's a finger. That means there's something there. So I click on it. Hi, I'm Mango, and I've got audio. And I know it sounds really silly, but it makes me happy, basically. So what did my students do? I wanted to show you a little bit what my students did with this, because I'm so proud of them. They did an amazing job. So here I have the books. Okay, you always see, one of the good things about having a library and having all the kids in your library is that you can see in real time what they're doing. They can ask you for help, and you can go into their book and see exactly where the problem is and help them out, because I can edit all the books. And it's a very controlled environment, and at the same time, they don't need to upload it anywhere afterwards, because if they've done the work here, I can access it at any time. So this one's a bit unfair because okay, I'm just going to play this book. Oh, another menu that to me was not very obvious at first, I'm just letting you know, is these 3 books here are the normal options, and that's where you delete it, move it, or copy, or combine books. Okay, because it took me, the first time I used it, I wanted to delete one of the books, and it took me a while to find out that that was actually the menu. So I'm gonna play this one. Okay, as you can see, it's got audio. So
El mono y la muerte en la escuela.
Okay, and then you open it. Okay, this is what they did.
Isabel, la enfermera de la escuela, estaba medicando a un alumno que no estaba bien, cuando de repente... alguna cosa había pasado corriendo enfrente de la puerta de su oficina.
And now my favorite slide ever, was my favorite panel ever.
Zoom!
Yeah. So you get an idea of what the students do and how they can use it. They get very, very creative. It is amazing when you give them a bit of freedom, the things they can do. Please do not mind the spelling mistakes, because there are quite a few. But I think they did a very, very good job, because it's a bit of everything. So this is the reason why I love this app, and why today, out of all the things I use, I really wanted to show Book Creator, because it makes me really happy. Okay, so we have a board, we have the cards, we've done the work, because we've done all these bits and things. Now, another thing that, as you can see, I'm just going around different apps all the time. So I use Flipgrids, I use Book Creators, I use Slides a lot. And okay, I'm sure you've all heard all these questions before. Where are we? How do I log in? What do I have to do? Where are we now? Especially with remote learning, this basically become my daily life. So I need a way to centralize all these bits and pieces that I'm taking from everywhere. When I want a student to do a worksheet in Wiseame, and then I want them to move on to practice vocabulary on Quizlet, and then I want them to see a video in a puzzle, or I want them to go to Canva to actually do the cards. When I want all these things to happen, how do I make sure that they are all where they are supposed to be? How do I make it? How do I centralize it? What do I use? Like to make it all clear and that the students are not all over the place. My answer to this is Nearpod, okay? That's the app I found that works for me, and I am sure there are many others out there that you know about and that you use, but this one works quite well for me. Now, this is what Nearpod looks like. Prepare one here. And it basically what it does is transforms Google Slides into presentation where you can add anything you want, okay? So how do I go about it? How do I make it so that they know exactly where they are, what we're doing, what I'm asking them to do? I always give them the time they need to do each thing. That's really important, but I'm just going to show you a bit how it works. So I'm just going to go and edit this one, okay, how Nearpod works. Well, it is a Google Slides. So you take a Google Slides, okay, like this one that I prepared. I prepared this on Google Slides, okay, that's basically what I did. I created a few, and then you need to have the add-on, okay, just go to get add-ons. I have it here, okay. If you don't know how, you just sign up for Nearpod, go into the add-on website and put it in. You just install it and that's it. That's all you have to do. Once you do this once, it's there forever. So I'm just gonna open it. So you create your Google Slides and then you get to Nearpod. And these are different things which you can add to your Google Slides. Yeah. So what kind of things can you add? You can add loads of things. I added some that I've used in class before, yeah, like a matching path. I'm going to, after I do a couple of things here, I'm going to put it up so that you can see exactly what the students see. You can actually access it and you can play it, okay, so that you see a bit how Nearpod works. So I'm just basically showing you what it allows me to do. It allows me to insert interactive activities in a Google Slides. Okay. So for example, matching pairs, you can draw, fill in the gaps, there's a little quiz. Okay. But it also allows you to add web content. So basically you click here and you can add any link you want. So for example, if I've prepared a worksheet in Go Formative, I take the link and I put it here so that students, it will pop up to students. Okay, so I prepared a Quizlet. I just add the website here. And when you add a website, I'm just gonna go to, I don't know, Quizlet.com live, okay? You can test the link to make sure it works. Really silly, but really useful. So yes, it works, good. So I'm gonna save it. And it will automatically just add the slide into my presentation. Okay, so I'm just going to erase this one now because that's the same as the one I just did. Okay. Yep. Other things that you can add, let's see, let's add here a few. We can add, for example, where are they? Not my day, I'm sorry. Okay, you can add a collaborative word, for example, board, okay? I don't know, just gonna you where are you from? You can add a picture, you can say it's, I don't know, city. Again, let's go for my magic word. Perfect, save, that's great. I can choose how I want it to look. Okay, let's go for a classic whiteboard, perfect, good. And I have a board in which the students can write whatever they want. What else could I add? I can add loads of things, draw it, vocabulary. You can add flip grids directly from it. Okay, just click here and you copy paste the links and you will go into that automatically. You can add a slideshow, for example. Let's do this so I can show you. I'm gonna put it at the end. As a slideshow, for example, you can show a slide, whatever you need, you just go. Okay, so I'm just going to add this. It's going to take a while. It takes a while because I'm adding a slide. So the idea of Nearpod, and the reason it's here, and I know it's just because I think it's important to understand that kids get lost. If you give them loads of different apps to use, they can get lost very easily. So it is important to have a place from which they can just extract every single thing you're doing, and that you can actually monitor where they are and what they're doing. This is what Nearpod allows me to do. You can do great things with it, but that's the way I use it. I use it just for that purpose, to have a bit of control over where the students are, what I want them to see at a specific time, and what they should be doing. Okay. Okay, that's good. What else? You can add videos, you can add audios. Okay, a quiz. Okay. So there's just some basic things that we can try out. Oh, we can add a poll. We could add a poll as well. All right. The reason I'm adding all these questions is because it generates a report afterwards, and I want you to see the report. You can add a timer if you wanted to. So you have 15 seconds to answer this. You know, how are you feeling today? Great, amazing, and not sure. Who knows? There's always a student who's not sure. All right. Okay, so these are a few things. So once you're done with that, you save and go to Nearpod. This is where we were first. And now it will save. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pause share because I'm going to change the way I'm sharing my screen. Share. Okay. Good. Well, it works. Okay. And the reason I've changed this view, and this is in the middle now. So sorry. Moving things around a little bit, is because I want to show you what you see and what the students see. I want you to see the difference between these two, and the only way for me to do it in a quick way is to have an incognito window next to my window. Okay, it's thinking. Okay, it's done. Now, Nearpod gives me two options. I can have a live lesson, or I can have a student paced. I'm doing synchronous learning all the time, so I always use live lessons, but then I post it in Google Classroom as a student paced if anyone wants extra practice. So we're going to go for live lessons so that you get to see what I see and what the students see.
So at the moment, Guiomar, we can just see your Nearpod library. Is that what you want to show us?
Oh, no, aren't you saying, oh, because I didn't, so sorry. I didn't stop.
It's fine. You're doing a brilliant job, but there's lots of lovely comments in the chat. But I just wanted to clarify that we can just see the library. Yeah, there we go.
Now, yeah,
there we go. That's it. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry. Thank you. So, all right. So I'm just going to show you again. I'm just going to go back to the library then. Sorry. Okay. All right. So the live session, I click on that and launch new live session. Okay, never mind. So I can share the link in the Google Meet where my students are. I can share it through Classroom, or I can just ask them to go to Nearpod, nearpod.com. If you go, anyone who wants to join, please join if you want. I don't know if and here, students, you add this code. Okay, so I'm just going to, I don't know if I can share the link in the chat maybe. Where did my chat go now? Chat is here. to everyone. Okay, so if you want to join the Nearpod, that'd be really good. That way, when I show you the report it generates, you can see exactly what it looks like. So here is the teachers. Here is where students see. So I'm just going to write my name. Okay, I'm going to join the session. Good. You do have a student view, so you can switch to student view. But if I do that, you can't see both at the same time, and I want you to see what both do at the same time. Okay? You have control all the time of where you are. The slides are here. You can jump to one and another. You can hide students' names. If you don't want them to see what anyone's doing, you can just hide them so no one can see them. And you don't need to follow the order you've set. Okay, you can jump from one to another. So let's see how that goes. So I'm just going to start moving, if that's okay. So the first activity that I ask students to do is to collaborate. And now here I have the option to approve comments or just let them do whatever. I can always delete the comments. Okay, I'm just going to let you, of course, write anything you want. You post here. So where are you from? So I'm from Barcelona. Okay. Oh, did I? Oh, I got the wrong. I said yes. Sorry. Well, I approve them like that. I'm so sorry. I thought I hadn't. Okay. I don't know if I can. I've never done this, so I don't even know if I can change the options now of doing that. I should be able to. Nope. I don't know where. Well, I'll just keep. And what I can do is, if I don't like one of the options, I can always delete it. I'm sorry, commentary, but you'll be back in a second. And then you can just repost it. You can like them. If they did a very good job, you can like them. Okay. And it's a very easy way to just have them write wherever they want here. I've used it in different ways, like asking them questions and ask them to answer them. It just depends on how you want to use this. Now, see, as I move, it lags a little bit, but it gets there. So matching pairs, start activity, and it gives them a timer. Now, really important, because this is really annoying. Just click here and it disappears. Now you can see everything. Okay, so 30 seconds is like not enough time to do this, but never mind, we'll just give it a go. Now, as I'm doing this, because I've hidden your names, I have in real time how students are doing, how many tries and how many they got right. Okay, I don't know. This is policeman, this is theft, I'm guessing. Okay, I don't know, time's up. I only give you 30 seconds. I usually give them more time. But it's just so that you get an idea of the kind of things I see and they see. I see how well they are doing. If they are just clicking because if I get like 30 tries, it means they're not even looking at what they're doing. They're just clicking and hoping they're getting them right. If you see someone that just got a couple of wrong pairs, okay, they're doing fine. If someone gets them, if they all get them perfectly well, means you need to step up a little bit the difficulty of the activity. Other things you can have them do is draw, and you can see in real time what they're drawing. This was just an activity where they only needed to write here the numbers. So again, this is annoying. So here they would write a 7, they would write a 2. I don't know. This was a 1, I think. So basically, they just draw, and here I can see one-to-one what my students are doing in real time. This is why I like it, because I can see what they're doing in real time. Okay. And this is just, you can have them do whatever you want them to do. They can draw, they can actually upload pictures if that's what you want them to do. They can also do that. They can add text, they can highlight. Maybe you have a text and you want them to highlight words. You can do that here. Okay, and I'm going to submit my work, which is amazing. I can still edit. They can edit the answer until I decide that's it. And I move on. When I move on, they move on. So I'm always in control, how much time they have. Okay, so this is the fill in the blanks. And these activities here just to tell you that I don't like it and I don't recommend it. And that whenever I want my students to do this kind of job, I would add a link and I would have them do this in a different app like GoFormative or Wiser or Google Forms or wherever you use for this kind of activity. The students can, just going to show you why. So basically, I don't see in real time what students are doing. I cannot see, like I did in the other ones, I don't see a thing. Students basically do that. I'm not even reading. I'm just dragging things around, but I'm not even reading. That one's got full stop, so I'm sure it's not that one, but it's okay. All right, so I'm done. And that's all I get. It doesn't tell students which ones, of course, they're all wrong. But if I had got like one right, it wouldn't tell me which one was right. And it doesn't give me the option to redo it. And as a teacher, I've got no idea how my students are doing. So if you actually want to fill in the blanks or some activity like that, I would recommend using another one because I was a bit disappointed the first time. Okay, let's move on. Loads of things. More things you can do. This is a quiz. Okay, I'm just not basically it's just a very like the concept of a quiz. Questions, I'm just going to show you very quickly, but we're running out of time. So these are really cute, that's for sure. Okay, so these are extremely cute. It's amazing. I do love that. Okay, and then I start the game. I'm just going to play a couple just so that you get the idea of how it looks like. Okay. Oh, I didn't choose my character, sorry. Sorry. So, okay, so this is part of the vocabulary they're doing in class. I was late, so I got no points. And here, you see everyone climbing. That's why it's called climb, because you can see the people climbing. Okay. Yeah, and that's basically how it works. It works like any other quiz, but it's cute, and my students really like the animals in them. Okay. Now, what do I do with the links? How do students see that? What do I do? Okay, so Quizlet. I want the students to study this vocabulary because this is the unit we're doing and the vocabulary they need. I added here as a web content, and basically they click, and it is a pop-up. This is why it's so good for me, because now they are here. They are working on this, they are learning, they can still use all the things they use for Quizlet, they can practice. And the moment I say it's over, it is over. And I can actually send them directly into Quizlet Live, and I give them the numbers. And believe me, since I'm doing this, because I basically tell them the numbers in Spanish, they actually listen to me and are learning the numbers. They think that they already know them and it's really easy and pay attention sometimes, but now they all know the numbers, because they all want to play Quizlet Live. This is the way it makes it really easy for me to know where students are, because they pop up. And when I say, okay, it's time to move on, it's time to move on, and we move on. So I know at all times where they are. A Flipgrid. I added here a Flipgrid. It opens here, so they can just basically go straight to it and add the response. I don't need to do anything. It takes them straight to the Flipgrid app. So that's why I said that this is, for me, a way to centralize what I am doing with them. This is actually the slides I'm using with the students, okay? They're grade 6 and 7, so bear that in mind. So this is the slides I'm actually using with them now to play the game, and this is what it looks like. Okay, this is all done through Google Slides. I've got a template for this that I'll very happily share to anyone who wants it. This is the card we use. I ask them to take a picture and on their phone just cross. When they discover that something is not possible, they just cross it out, and that's what they use. When we are almost about to find out who is responsible, I ask them to go to whiteboard, and they have to draw the scene. So the place, the person, and the weapon, and then I can see, so that way they don't take turns saying to give them their hypothesis, and they all have a chance to answer at the same time. And more than one person can be the winner. So if more than one student actually knows the answer, that's for me a way for all of them to get credit for knowing the answer. And it's very creative because I have them drawing and they really like it. So, yeah. So that's more or less how my slides at the end works. And these are the cards the students created to play the game. Quite a few. All right. So I move on and the students move on. Good. And now it's time for a poll. Okay. So how are you feeling today? I'm feeling really nervous, but okay, let's just say I'm feeling right. And I'm going to submit it. Perfect. And here I see A, B, and C. And I know here which one it is and how people in, I get how you're all feeling today. And time's up because I set it up very quickly because we don't have a lot of time. And now see, I cannot continue because this is the end of my presentation. So what do I do now? Okay, I'm just going to close this. And that's the other thing I wanted to show you. I'm just going to go back now to my library. Yes, I want to leave this session right now. It is always open, so you can always access it back. Because what I want to show you, and this is the last thing I'm going to show you, is reports, which is here. Now, this is the one we just played, okay? So I'm just going to show you what the report looks like, because it's actually quite good. It tells you how many people answered, how many people skipped, of course, because it was. And here you have the different options. If you had no quiz in it, then you have no data, but the poll, okay, good. Here, this is the poll, I can see it, perfect. Draw it. I can see all the drawings one by one. You can just click on one and I can close it, okay? Matching pairs, same thing. They completed it or not, how many tries. Collaborate, everything they brought down. I can edit or I can just view it. It will take me there. So everything you've been doing, the time to climb, if we had finished, it will take you to the scores. Flipgrid, same thing. It will take you to the board. Now, my personal battle, fill in the blanks. This is all I have. I do not know which ones you got right. And that's probably the only feature that I would improve from Nearpod is the fill in the blanks. It doesn't give me enough information. That's why I do recommend using other things. It's what I was saying. There's no perfect tool. So if you want to do something, you're going to end up combining them. So in this case, instead of doing this activity here, I would just add the link to another site for the students to do it. So that's more or less the idea behind what I've been doing with my students in class, how I've prepared it and how I've been playing with them. Okay, and basically I've reached the end of my presentation, and now any questions you have, please throw them my way.
That was absolutely amazing, Guiomar.
I'm
Thank
so
you
sorry,
much.
so fast, so many things. I'm not sure I was clear enough of why I'm using each thing and when am I using it. I'm so sorry if that
No, you did brilliantly. It's absolutely brilliant. Can I just clarify with Nearpod, some of those things that you were showing us, were some of them premium features, like the drawing, for example?
I think they are, because now premium is free for schools. So
okay, during lockdown, but I think, so during lockdown, everyone will be able to replicate what you've shown us. But I think I'm right in saying that normally the drawing feature is a premium feature. But yeah, absolutely, people now can have a play with the full suite. That's great.
To be honest, I've been using Nearpod since we moved into remote learning because I did not have the need for it before. So it's one of those things that it is good that right now it's free because I need it now. I don't know if I'll need it afterwards, but right now I need it.
That's excellent. So we've got a couple of questions. I've tried my best to sort of answer everyone's questions in the chat, and other people have been lovely as well. So we had a question earlier in Book Creator. Do you have the children working independently on their own books, or do you use the collaborative feature, which again, I think is a premium feature, but I think it's free at the moment? I'm not using, each of them has their own book. They work independently. Okay, that's great. So we've got a few other questions. Hang on, because the chat's moving quite quickly. Hang on.
I was just wondering, is it possible to say thank you, first of all, on behalf of everybody, and then we'll go to the questions, because, you know, it was just amazing, and there'll be people who just want to say thank you before we get into the questions. Is that all right? So perhaps if you wouldn't mind, if you stop sharing your screen. Oh, yes, all right. Is that okay with you, Joe?
Yeah, of course, that's fine.
All right, so if everybody opens up their videos and their audio as well, in true tilt fashion. Okay, so wait for everybody to get ready there. Be ready for the applause then, Guiomar. Amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
I'm gonna blush.
Hey! Bravo!
Thank you.
Brava.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Really good. And while you're there, I'm just going to take a picture of the class before we go on. All right. So if you could keep them open just a minute, that'd be great. So I'm taking one now. 1, 2, 3. You, and then I've got to go onto the other page as well, because that's page 1. There we go. On to the next page. Lovely. Here goes. So 1, 2, 3, and
You still haven't filled in my page.
there we are. Thank you very much. Absolutely amazing. Really, really good.
Fantastic.
I mean,
So
we're going to just enjoy watching it again, going through it. I'm going to be watching it, pausing it, doing it. It's really, really good. So, and thank you very much, Joe, for organising everything, organising these wonderful people you know as well. Bring them all together. We're so grateful, really are.
That's fine. It's my pleasure. I just love the creative flow of today's session in particular. I just think it's wonderful, yeah. And seeing the student view as well in Nearpod. I think a lot of people really appreciated that because they could see what the students would see, as it were.
You have a student view, but it's not the same feeling.
Of course. I'm just checking through the other questions. If you have any other questions, everyone, if you want to put them in the chat. But the only other one, the other question that's come up is
now, where Joe asks the questions.
Do all students join your lesson from home at a specific time, or do you do a lot of this stuff asynchronously, or is it all done at the same time?
My school is doing everything synchronously. We have a timetable, and I meet with the students on a set, like I did before, but we do it through Meet, through Google Meet. So
do you have like a similar timetable as you would have normally?
Yeah.
And so what do you do, for example, when you got in families where there's say 3 or 4 children all trying to use the same device, or is that not been an issue?
It's not an issue because my school is a one-to-one school, so they all have their own devices.
Okay.
So that's why we can do it that way. Otherwise, we probably would have chosen a different way. But
that's amazing. Right, I'm just seeing if there's any other questions, but I think we tried our best to answer everything in the chat. I think that was everything I wanted to say. Just in relation to Book Creator, could you possibly show the auto draw feature for everyone? Do you know how that works?
No, I've never used that one.
Can I just show? Can you show your screen again?
It's a masterclass coming on.
That's amazing.
If you could show your screen again, I'll just show you a little tip I normally do in Book Creator.
That's great too.
If that's okay.
That's great. See, the thing is, I only know as much as I've needed. So.
It would just be nice to.
So, yeah, I'm just going to show that here. Share. Perfect. So,
Yep. Okay. So then if you click on the, that's right. So click on the plus icon for me, please. That's lovely. And then click on the, Can you access the drawing option in the comic books version? If you click on media, maybe.
I've got pen, which I'm guessing is this one. Yeah.
Can you see it says auto at the bottom?
Oh, amazing.
You click on that and then just draw something like a cat's face or whatever you would like.
And I'm just going to draw a really bad
Okay.
house.
Now, can you see what's happening at the top of the screen?
Oh my God. That's amazing. Oh God, you just changed my life.
So then what you could do is you could create a book full of those sorts of images.
Yeah.
You can color them as well. If you click on the black icon, top left,
you can change the color.
You can change the color. There you go.
And I can even add some magic.
Yeah. And then you can then record your audio in the way that you did and make it invisible, and then make your own type of talking worksheet if you like.
Oh, that's actually really interesting.
Yeah, does that make sense?
It does make sense.
There you go.
Oh, I'm going to try this next time. Oh, thank you for that. That's
really, all right.
Really
and then you can use the fill tool as well. Can you see yep, if you click on that, yeah, and then change the color or whatever. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, that's how that works.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I don't know what my life will be without Control Z. So.
Yeah, so auto draw is really nice in Book Creator.
Why doesn't it let me change it now? Okay, look at that.
Lovely. So there's a question from Jessica. Would it be different for students with dyslexia and vision impairment? Jessica, can you clarify what you mean? Do you mean what we just looked at in Book Creator, or do you mean other aspects of what Guiomar showed? Can you clarify what you mean by the word "it" in that sentence? That'd be great.
I love all these colours. Oh, the whole thing. I mean, it's just...
Okay, yeah. So in Book Creator, so the question is, would Book Creator be different for students with dyslexia and vision impairment? So I know that in the font options,
Yeah, you
I don't know if you can click on the font for us. One of the options is Open Dyslexic. So that's obviously designed particularly for dyslexic speakers. Yeah, that's it. So if you click on, and then if you click on the eye icon and font, the word font, and then one of the options is Open Dyslexic. There you go.
Here, Open Dyslexic,
Yeah.
And I also heard that in some cases for dyslexia, the background helps. If you have a blue background, it's easier to read for them afterwards. So you can also do that.
That's lovely. And so you could change the color, the background color to whatever color you wanted in the way that Guiomar has shown us. So so to answer that question, you, based on the colors that would most cater best to students with either dyslexia or vision impairment, then you'd be able to do that. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, I think that's everything. Unless anyone else has any other questions, I think that's been amazing. It's exactly what I thought it was going to be. So it's brilliant. I'm delighted.
It's just that so many things that I'm using that I didn't know exactly what to choose, and I hope the ones I chose were clear enough.
No, it's great.
It
was great. I think that background tip right at the beginning as well, so the children can't move around the background, is incredibly important as well.
Yeah. It does help when you play the game a list.
Lovely.
And there are principles there. You know, people have been commenting about the fact that people are using different platforms, but a lot of the things you're showing could be done on different platforms, couldn't they?
Yeah. I mean, you can use PowerPoint instead of Google Slides. Nearpod, you can use just the Nearpod instead of using the slides. They have their own slide system. It's just that because we use it on a daily basis, then it's easier to use Google Slides because I know how it works better.
Great. And look at all the comments still coming about mind-blowing webinar, but also lovely that you're sharing ideas. So Xio is telling us about a free course on Future Learn about dyslexia and language learning. So that's great to know as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
And there's been quite a few people in the MFL Twitter RT who've been on that and have said it's really fantastic. So I would definitely recommend that as well. Not that I've been on it personally, but I know that people have really enjoyed it.
Well, this has been great. Absolutely lovely. Shall I stop the recording then now, everybody?
Good idea. Thanks again, Guiomar. That was awesome.
No, thank you so much for having me.
Stop the live stream and stop the recording. Here we are.